Hey, 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 hey there. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Savvy Sisters. I'm trying to get my hair in together. Okay, there we go. All right, hey there. All right, we have got one heck of a good interview today, and I am so excited. It is, hi there, Lola. Okay, there's our guest. Oh boy, is she prompt. I love it. Lola and Lee. Hello, Lee. Hey, Lola is a pretty darn cool person, and we're going to be talking about bullying. And when we talk about bullying, we're talking about bullying between children. How do we control that? How do we not the signs of it? How do we see the signs of this? Because uh, school's starting up and we've got kids in classrooms and everything else and bullying starts. Hi, Lola. We're
Hi,
going to do
Lena.
a little bit I'm going to give them your bio and then we'll get started. How's that?
Yeah, let's do it. So
Okay.
let me tell you how to say my name because everybody butchers it.
Good. I would love that. So tell
You
me.
pronounce my name Loyla.
Loyla. Oh,
That's
I
it.
love that. Okay. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Loyla. Her mission to help moms discover and unlock the family potential. That's her whole goal. She provides encouragement, she provides support, she provides counseling and tools, especially for the moms, to see that the family's dreams and goals really come true. In her past, she was a certified court reporter, and then she became a stay-home mom. But she wasn't just a stay-home mom. She worked helping her kids through school, church, and then she also helped her husband establish his career in the media industry. She founded Mothers in Training UC. That's very cool. And now she speaks and she coaches. And I am so happy she's here.
Nice
Well,
to be here.
oh, very nice. And today we're talking about bullying. And how many kids do you have,
I
Loyola?
have 4 children. My oldest is 30, and then I have 22, 20, and just about to be 18.
Oh my gosh. I have three boys and they're 18, 15, and 13. So we are still at home, but my first one's moving out this fall to university. So it's it's quite a time. All right. So
Lovely.
with all this, what have you seen? Because, definitely four kids going through the school system and everything. I mean, did any of your kids get bullied?
Well, I actually homeschooled, so we avoided a lot of bullying because of that. But I saw it out and about. It goes on. It can go on in any group of kids together,
Yes.
and
Yes.
discussing that as we have this conversation, we're really going to come to understand, or so I hope, to understand why any group of kids you put together, there's always going to be an opportunity for some bullying to happen if you don't understand and know how to intervene and help the situation.
Or teach the kids how to deal too. That's another important thing. Yes, very cool. And so okay, well, one of the things I've seen, my kids are in the school system, and yes, my kids, luckily, it's funny, my oldest, when he was in third grade, was just beginning to get like a little bullying nudge, but he nipped it in the bud. That's the good.
Mm.
But there are other kids that do not nip it in the bud or do not know how to or do not have the self-esteem to. I mean, what what kind of gets kids picking on each other?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's such a popular topic, and it's so upsetting
Yeah.
for a mother to find out that her child has been in that kind of a situation, and because you as mom are not right there to intervene,
Yes.
it's so emotional.
It
So I
is
think
very emotional.
I think it's so valuable to understand what's going on. So,
Right.
you know, you asked the question, why does this sort of thing happen? And it has a lot to do with what's going on at home.
Yes.
When a child is there are a little first I want to say this: the way bullying is handled in the school the way a school wants it dealt with is very different based on the school, right? So every school has their own way in which they want that handled. Some want their children to go, right to the teacher. Others want, you know, the parent to know and to work it out, parent to parent. So everything I want to talk about today in regard to bullying has to do with what's going on in the home. Why is this getting to the point where kids are going to school and either A, being abused or victimized, or they're on the other side of this where they are bullying another child?
Yeah. Well, what do you think about that? Because that, if what is happening at home is, if say a child is being bullied at school, what do you? I mean, what now? And I do have to preface that some kids who are bullied do have, you know, their self-esteem is lacking, and kids pick up on the weakness, especially those that want to bully.
Yeah.
But some kids are not. Do not have a low self-esteem. So what's going on at home?
So these are the subtle things that happen at home that lead up to what happens elsewhere. In a home, there's a bit of a pecking order that goes on. You know, typically when a man and a woman get married, they're opposites.
Oh, really?
Opposites, right? Would you agree with me?
Yes, I would. Yeah, a lot of we do tend to do that. We tend to get into our opposite, and that sometimes causes a difficulty, along with excitement.
Absolutely. So when opposites attract, that creates a bit of a conflict, a tension, and I'll explain why. When tensions rise, everybody has their go-to place, the thing that they do, the environment they create for themselves to create comfort when tensions rise. So for opposites, when they're going to their go-to place, I'll give you an example. Typically, one person in the relationship is very neat, orderly, tidy. Everything has to be just so.
Right.
Married to the other person who needs a very relaxed environment, likes things out and about, that gives them comfort and soothes them. So you put those opposites together in a home, and when tensions rise, there's a conflict as to who's going to get the environment they need.
I see what you mean. Yes.
When one person in the family, let's just say it's the mom in the situation that I'm describing, just creating a scenario.
Okay.
Mom wants the house to be completely neat, tidy, orderly. Everything has to be just so. She can't really think well unless the house is that way.
Right.
Now when tensions rise and dad wants to go to his, you know, he just needs things relaxed, somebody's going to have to give. If mom is dominating the household, she's actually bullying in the family. She's insisting that everybody do things the way she needs them done.
Okay.
And it doesn't allow the different people within the household to create their own comfort, their own space that they need to feel soothed in the situation.
Okay.
So there is this little subtle form of bullying that goes on. So, okay, so I've prefaced with that. Now I want to say, when all the children have to acquiesce, when the entire family has to acquiesce to one person in the family, what is that doing to the character? What is that doing to a child's sense of self? And not just the child, but everybody in the family, they have to mold and cater and succumb to one person in the family who's dominating.
Okay.
So there you have your very first inklings of what's happening out when a child now goes out into the world. They've learned within the confines of their own home, I have to succumb, I have to suppress, I have to mold to another stronger person. You see,
it's an interesting concept, but if you brought it further, I just want to kind of bring up a devil's advocate kind of thing. You know, the kids in schools, they have to succumb to a teacher. When you get, if you go to work, you have to succumb to a boss. If you do, you know, I mean, there's a lot of succumbing to authority in some ways. When you go over to a friend's house as a kid, you have to succumb to the parents' needs and wants in that situation. I don't know if I call it all bullying though, but I do call it, you know, there is definitely a place where kids get a lot of, they have to listen to the adult, yeah, or they have to listen to, do you see what I'm saying? Are you
Yes,
following along?
I do. And I'm not
Okay.
suggesting that a child should ignore authority or that there shouldn't be any
Right.
authority in the home. I'm
Yeah.
talking about when an imbalance happens, right? So people function in a healthy manner when there's balance, a balance between authority and independence. And
Okay, good.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when a child is 2 years old, there's very little independence. There's the weight is on the authority. And as the child begins to grow, there's a transition that should be happening where a child is gaining a little more and more independence and ability to um, bring themselves into the decision making that goes on in the home, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
it's a beautiful dynamic that happens of a slow shifting till finally the day comes when there's a mutuality based
Right.
on
Right. Right.
based
That's
on
true.
maturity, right?
Yes. Yes.
So there's this beautiful little picture of what the parenting journey should look like from beginning to end. This slow transition to the point where eventually there's mutuality on the table, mutual respect, right? The authority figure never goes away, but the dynamic changes. But
Oh, I
when
think
that,
it's mutual. I love mutual respect. It's funny when I first got divorced, one of the things I did that changed the course was I treated my kids as people.
yes,
Interesting concept, but sometimes we don't. We
yeah,
don't. And so I got them together. I understood what they needed. I understood that the rug had been pulled out from under them, and I really want, we decided things as a family most of the time.
yes,
I wanted to encourage their importance in that family and their
yes,
decision, to give them some grounding in this turbulent time. And also I also exuded everywhere I could that I was there for them
yes,
and that we were going to make it.
beautiful,
That So when I do believe that our kids are little souls. They are little people. They're not mini me's. I say that over and over. They're not, Lord knows they're not mini me's. And so we do have to, we have a responsibility to get, to feel that we are raising an individual and that they
yes,
do have a say in the family. I do agree with that, you know, especially as they get older and they want,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
What
So
about confidence?
say more about that.
Well, um confidence, when a kid when a kid when a child has confidence in themselves and believes in themselves, when they're faced with a bullying situation, they will more apt than not say, wait a minute, I don't need this. No. But
And
a
so
child who doesn't have confidence, who doubts himself, will doubt himself and leave the door open. Do you not agree?
I absolutely agree. And so where does that confidence come from is the question, right? So it comes
Right.
from at home. So
Yeah.
that's to be
Exactly.
nurtured all along. And how do you nurture confidence in the child?
Yeah.
It's by that slow transition of um, learning how to be able to express yourself in your home and find out who you are within your home and discover your voice within your home. And so
Yeah.
that's why I described earlier when a child doesn't get to do that because one person within the home is dominating the entire home, they don't
Right.
get to explore
Right.
their voice, right?
Right.
So
Right.
it's not about eliminating authority or eliminating uh, parental supervision and control over the home, but it's about fostering something else in the process for the
Respect.
individual child.
It's respect. It's
Absolutely.
respect for each other, and respect for your children, respect for each other as mates. It's a level of respect in the home. Actually, that's what you're talking about. If I to not nip it in the bud for sure, because it's a complex thing, but it does help understand. Yeah, it's respect. And what do you think? How do you? What about if your child is, ooh, dare we say, the bully?
It,
Ah,
it comes back to the same thing. Let me use
yeah.
myself as an example, if I may. When I was a child, I had a very difficult upbringing, and there was no place for my voice. I did not
Mm,
know who I
yeah.
was as a person. I remember, as a matter of fact, my mother remembers to this day me asking her at the age of 4, Mommy, am I a person? That was
Oh,
very telling.
oh, yeah.
That was very telling. I
Did
didn't
that wake her
know.
up?
I
Did that
didn't
wake
know.
her up and,
No,
your mom? No?
she didn't understand. She
Yeah,
didn't understand. There were
yeah,
other things going on in the home that she was too overwhelmed. And this,
yeah,
this brings up the point, what
yeah,
happens in a family where there's so much turmoil happening? Maybe a divorce is happening, maybe there's
yeah,
abuse or addiction happening, and there's so much going on that nobody's aware of each other. Nobody
yeah,
has the mental space to consider the next person. So this all plays into how a child can become a bully, or a child can become the victim of a bully. So to get back to your question about how does a child become a bully, in my situation, so I remember probably around 8 years old. Now, I had been bullied all along those years. I did not have my voice. I just cowered when somebody said something mean to me. And those were the
okay,
first little inklings to the rest of my little world, my peers, that I was weak and vulnerable. And I was. And so I remember my mother sending me up to the grocery store to pick up some groceries by foot. I walked, and I was standing in the heat of the day against the store wall, the brick wall, with my groceries, just taking a little breather before I took the trek home with my grocery bags. And
right?
three brothers walked by. The first one spit at me.
Oh,
I did nothing.
how
The
rude.
brother, the brother, seeing what his brother got away with, he spit at me
Right.
too and kicked my bag. The little one, now I must have been 8. The little one must have been 5, 6. He spit his gum in my bag, in my grocery bag. Do you know, I didn't even move to say or do or protect myself until I was dealing with that littlest one, because I was so fearful that I could not match the strength and power and capacity of
Right,
even my peers, that it was
right,
only till the youngest one spit in my bag, spit his gum out in my bag,
yeah,
that I kicked him. I
yeah,
just, it was the most, I was powerless, right?
yeah,
So
right,
that has everything to do with what was going on in the home. If a child is feeling powerless, no voice, no
yeah,
ability to express, I like this, I don't like this,
yeah,
right? It doesn't
right.
mean that a child is going to change what's everything going on in the home, but the safety to say,
Safety.
this
Yeah.
is me, this is how I feel, this is what
Or
I
the
need.
confidence to say. Yeah, the confidence to say.
That's
And
where
and
it
just
goes.
knowing your limits, which when you're confident you do. When you're not confident, you don't. I just want to say hello to Carolyn and Melissa and Cheryl, and there's others watching. I've seen your names go by. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, all right, yeah, it's very true. It's very true, and I dare say a lot of times it can go either way. If a kid is not getting respect at home, or he has seen the hitting, or he has seen the bullying in the home, or in other places, just an environment. If he's always going to school where there's a lot of bullies, and he's just always seeing that, he can turn into a bully or a victim. And so when we're parents, I think, yes, keeping that wonderful feeling that you're raising little souls, that you are raising individual people, and that respect, that it comes back to that respect for each other, and learning. I mean, I wasn't an easy kid. I had a lot of opinions, imagine that. And I know that it was hard for my parents. I remember one time, I had gone to, my friends and I decided we wanted a rabbit, my best friend and I. Okay. My mom said, no, I'm allergic to rabbits. Why in the heck would she let me have a rabbit? Well, but we decided to get the rabbit. And that father let us have the rabbit. And I remember when my mother found out, she said, you have to return this rabbit. What in the heck are you thinking? You're going to sneeze up to wazoo. So we went back and we returned the rabbit. Now, we had both been yelled at by our parents, for doing this without their consent. All right, I was 7 years old. So then we brought back the rabbit, and he started, like, he would not lay off, the owner of the rabbit. He was just laying into us over and over. And this is me. I stood up and I put my little hands on my hips and I said, we have already heard from our parents. We know that we did wrong. We're bringing back the rabbit. We do not need to hear from you. And I walked out, and
Wow.
my mother was just having a fit, but I knew my boundaries. You know what I mean? He was too much. I wasn't used to getting that at home. And my parents respected my opinion. But imagine raising a little girl that has a lot of opinions and is a thinker. The parents are going to get a little tired of it, but you're raising a human being.
That's right.
So knowing your child and raising them and giving them confidence, it builds them when they go into the relationships in the schools and in their groups when they play outdoors, or when they have to have the confidence within themselves to stand up. Everyone has the opportunity to get bullied, because if a person is angry, they will bully. Don't you agree,
Oh,
Loyla?
absolutely. And I also think, I want you to think about, if you remember, the popular kid in school. Now, early on, before children really learn how to handle this power that they have, there's a tendency for the popular girl to say, you're either in with me, and it could be a boy too, I'm just using a girl in this situation, to say, you're either in my group or you're out and you're nobody. That's a form of bullying too. So if you have a child who's strong, who understands their confidence and their power, maybe they have an organic charisma that just draws other children to them, that child must also learn how to navigate that power, how to handle that tool, so that other children who are not maybe awkward, maybe socially awkward, maybe not comfortable in crowds, to be sensitive to those children as well. So this is far and widespread, the early onset of bullying, or that tendency, or what to do if you're on the outside feeling bullied. It has everything to do with sensitivity, not just confidence and respect at home, but confidence and respect abroad, right? It's really a lifelong concept.
It's teaching your kids. It's teaching your kids, and kind of watching. We're going to start up on school. Watch your kids. How are they coming home? Are they happy and excited? Well, the first few days they're tired as all get out. I know that. But are they getting, I mean, are you seeing a down, the head down, and I don't really want to talk about it kind of thing. That's bonding time, folks. Get over there and say, hey, what's going on? And keep at it in subtle little ways, because they won't tell you right away. They're ashamed.
That's right. And some children don't like to talk at all.
No, and some kids don't, but your kid, so you'll know that, but you've got to read the signs and just kind of educate your kids. I still think when kids used to play out in the yard, unstructured, that's when we learned how to deal with the different powers, the different personalities. We played cops and robbers. We just did all sorts of things as kids. When we were unstructured, we were able to manage that. Kids don't have that as much anymore. They always have an adult right there guarding it. Kids do not always manage how to manage the power in the group. So it's up to you to teach them, and it's up to you to give them the confidence. And that's not by saying constantly, oh, you're just a great kid, but maybe giving them responsibility at home, and they know when they could do the good job, and tell them, hey, that was you did an awesome job of that, or that wasn't so good.
And there is a pecking order. There is a
Yeah,
pecking order within every group. And
right.
there's no getting around that. There really isn't. Especially early on. I mean, hopefully as people mature, they start to level the playing field. A lot of times it still doesn't happen,
No,
even
they
maturity.
don't.
Yeah. But if we can
Well,
teach our children early on in the foundational years, what do you do? How do you handle
right.
the fact that there's somebody weaker behind you and there's somebody stronger ahead of you? How do you not uh, force yourself on the weaker person? And how do you have mutuality with somebody who happens to be stronger with you? Where do you find that point of connection? These are very
Yeah.
complex concepts that if we can focus on them and teach them and bring them to the table when our children are young, this is
Yeah.
this will change the future for
Right.
the
It does.
structure in society. It's
It
a
does.
life-changing concept.
Yeah. And guys, and they are complex in the idea of it, but when you put it into practice with your kids, it's not so complex. You know what I mean? It's very not. If you teach your kids to be comfortable with themselves and have compassion for those around them, and really have compassion for the kids that don't have, bring that up. Bring that up. My gosh, that kid has a hard time at home. Did you stop and say hi to him?
That's
Did,
right.
did you help that kid who's having such a hard time in school? Just go over and say, hey, you want a little help with your homework? My boys all do that, because that's just the way we should be as humans. And then to know our boundaries, teach your kids the confidence and to know their boundaries. If somebody's stepping over their boundary and keeps pecking at them, no, that's not allowed. It's not allowed. Well, anyway, watch your kids when the school starts. Watch if they're comfortable. Watch that they're getting involved in school, they're getting involved in sports, or they have a good group of friends, that they're not just alone, and that they're coming home happy. Do you have anything to add, I'll get it. Don't say it. Lol. Oh, darn it, Lolva. Say it for me, please. I don't want to murder your name.
Loyla.
I love that. Loyla. I love that. It's a beautiful name. But what would you say to that, as far as adding to that, as far as the kids getting back to school and signs that the parents can watch for?
Yeah, so school's about to start and everybody has a mixed emotions of excitement and anxiety. And one of the most important things that we can all do for our children getting
Yeah.
ready for school, parent and child alike, is prepare. It's the unknown that creates anxiety. So anything that we can do to take away that anxiety by maybe visiting the school, meeting the teachers, maybe connecting with some of the families that you're going to spend the rest of the year with, taking a look through your school books in advance. These are all ways of eliminating the anxiety that can manifest at school and then create little problems. So that's
Okay.
that's something that I would
That's
say
good too.
it's a really good way to start the year, because that creates confidence. I know what to expect.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Now, if people want to learn more about you, or just check out your site, could you give everyone your site?
Yeah, it's mothersandtraining.org. And I have a top 10 best parenting tips. If you want to download that, it's free, and that can set you, that's another tool that you can use to start the year on a strong footing. And if you want to reach me by email, it's Coach Loyla at mothersandtraining.org. It was great to be with you, Alena.
It's fantastic to be with you too. So, guys, here we go into the school year. I, for one, do not want it. I love summer. I am just loving this summer. But, oh well, there we go. I guess we'll have a fantastic fall too. So today, have a talk with your kids. You know what I mean? Get them ready for school. Get them ready. How do they feel about school? And create an excitement, but also kind of deal with whatever they're worried about, if they're worried. Or, really cool things, have the friends over for like a preschool party. You know what I mean? Get them all, or because then they're all on the same playing field at your house and having fun, and it eases the school. If your kid has trouble getting back into school, that eases the unknown. It makes it feel pretty good. All right, guys, love you all. Hey, make it a miraculous day. And also for all of you in Savvy Sisterhood 2, okay? We're meeting tonight at 7. I had terrible Wi-Fi last night. I couldn't get on, and it just kept kicking me off. So tonight at 7 o'clock for Savvy Sisterhood 2. And I'm so excited. It's such an awesome group, ladies. So we will get on there and we will talk more about how to get our critical thoughts in order so that we can really accomplish the dreams we want to. All right. Bye, Cheryl, Caroline, Melissa. Thank you so much for being on. Everyone visit the site. This is going to be cool. Thank you so much. I loved having you on. Fantastic.
Nice to see you, Alena. Have a nice day.
Oh, you too. Namaste, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.